So I kind of jumped on the bandwagon. I didn't really. I liked striking, and I kind of I didn't fall in love with jiu-jitsu straight away, but I felt sick another way, and just with my mental health, and then after that I fell in love with jiu-jitsu, and I was training jiu-jitsu every night training jiu-jitsu. But I was still fighting like K1 kickboxing. I was competing in MMA. I was competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments. But like, so yeah, I ended up winning like K1 titles and stuff like that with the striking. But then I got big into doing jiu-jitsu. I was competing more. I wanted to do MMA, and then I was hit with a stroke. You see, my stroke was different to yours, though, Chris.
Yeah.
But when I was in hospital, they weren't sure, and that's why even the fact that they weren't sure and they were considering that it was a dissection just shows, because the day before I was training, and a big guy, 120 kg guy. I'm only I'm 70 kg now. Whatever. I don't know what that is in pounds, but he had me in a neck crank, and I wasn't tapping. I was being resilient to it. I was,
of course,
like, letting him squeeze. Yeah, and the coach called time. I got up and I just said to the guy, like, I was like, that it's not really a submission, it's more of a neck crank. But like then the next day I had my accident, and so whatever. The first week after my accident, because my stroke was kind of small, the doctors weren't sure what it was. Some doctors thought it was only a migraine, and but I went back a week later, and then I stayed in hospital for a week. But eventually the CT scan or the MRI scan on my neck came back, and it showed there was no dissection. But the fact that they thought there was a dissection there, like, it really does show, like, that it is, like, the safety of people's necks is very important.
Exactly, bro. I know. I somebody told me when I first heard dissection, I'm like, what? Huh? That doesn't make. And then when you step back and you're like, okay, you got these two carotid arteries, and this is the picture of them, and people are tugging on these things, and you're manipulating the neck to raise those carotids to the surface so you can get a deeper choke on them. Is okay. Yeah, that's kind of something we might need to think about and respect a little bit.
Definitely. But you know what? I think it's made my jiu-jitsu better, nearly.
Yeah.
Knowing about the carotid artery.
I think so too.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, so then as soon as I kind of got into the hospital, and I had to stay in hospital, I got in touch with you. I think it was the second night I was in hospital. Because like yourself, like, I was like Googling like BJJ after stroke, can you be choked after a stroke, like stuff like that, and I didn't even think I'd be able to train, like, but no, like, I think you kind of need someone to tell you that it can be done. You know, you can go back to training, like, you know, you might even be able to compete again, and that was a big thing for me. You saying that to me, that I could be able to compete again, so that was always in my head. I was training in a different gym at the time of my accident. My accident was actually because I was born with a hole in my heart, and because I was getting ready for MMA fights, I would have been getting kicked in the leg from leg kicks, and that's where my clot would have started in my thigh, somewhere like that. And then because I was running, my heart didn't really have a chance to kind of slow down. I was doing like 10 kilometers a night, and like, so that's like 4 miles, I think, something like that, every night. And the next, like, so 3 nights before my stroke, I had ran that 10K every night and trained 10 days. So I was flat, like, I was working hard.
Yeah.
You know. But Yeah. So then that's how my stroke actually came across. But even like a stroke, like all strokes are different, but it's still a stroke. You know,
right.
it's not. It's like it's nothing to really like. It's serious enough. You know, it's serious. Whatever kind of stroke it is. But no, but that like I remember my first session back in the gym. It was a summer's morning. See, because I was training a different gym, my black belt instructor, he trains in a different gym. He rang me while I was in hospital. I was having a really shitty night. I was like, my head was in my hands, tears. You know, it was an awful night. And he was just kind of calming me down. He's like, "Come up, just train jiu-jitsu. I'll look after you. I'll make sure no one's like you're not gonna get injured." You know. So it was good to kind of have that reassurance, like. And fair play to him, Wayne Fagan. He's really looked after me. But that my first training session back, he wasn't there. I was training with a new guy. I didn't know this guy, Kurt. He's a purple belt. But he I think we did like 5 minutes of guard passing, drills.
Yeah.
And like I nearly fell asleep in the car on the way home. Like my mom would have picked me up, and I nearly fell asleep in a 20-minute journey on the way home. I was exhausted, but that's what, like I see you were saying, like your first kind of couple of weeks are really tough.
Yeah.
But once you kind of get going, it's like you get going again, you know.
Yeah.
I think jiu-jitsu, that's what jiu-jitsu is like. Like it's like that's what it does. You don't really need to kind of exert yourself too much.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Well,
it
can be like that. You know, it's
yeah.
So let me ask you this: why do you think it's important that people, other than the fact that there's some dangers in the carotid artery, that we don't want our training partners to get hurt, but why do you think it's important to spread awareness and get these stories out? Because I've got people who have had strokes, and they're contacting me, but a couple of them are like really not interested in like getting their stories out. They kind of want to brush it under the table or just kind of keep it private. And for me personally, I just want to understand why. Because for me, it's like, okay, just like you said, it's like, oh, we never really thought about it, man. We got this carotid artery thing going on, and it's like, it's a danger. It's like, I don't know about you, but I just kind of want to tell the world, because I don't want this to happen to other people. You know what I mean? Like,
or a child, or
that the child is that's my biggest thing. Like, I'm a coach. You know what I mean? So
we help teach the kids classes as well and beyond. But that's like if anyone's going on, like obviously there's no guillotines in kids comps, but like even in the gym, like if someone has a rear naked, one of the kids has a rear naked, like it's like straight away.
You just let go.
Yeah, like we're calling tap,
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I mean, do you think, has that always been like that in your gyms, or is that has this new, like, has your accident brought awareness to this?
The academy I'm in now, Beyond Jiu-Jitsu, that's in North County, Dublin. It's always been kind of like that. It's always been like that. It's like the kid, like we look after the kids, but it's like we were all tough, but it's well organized. It's structured well. It's like no one's getting hurt.
Right. I haven't heard any stories about kids yet, but I think there was even a recent, I don't know if you've seen, but there was a recent article as well about a dissection in the military. They were doing some combative type stuff.
Yeah.
And they have a documented article from that as well that they just put out. But yeah, I'm going back in our messages, and it looks like it was 7/19/18 at 6:30 p.m. And you reached out to me about the. You said, I'm 23 from Ireland. I love BJJ, and last week I suffered from a mini stroke. I fought
Yeah,
MMA.
it wasn't a mini stroke though, but still, you
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah. You didn't
yeah,
know. You didn't know what was going on when you're in the hospital. You,
I hadn't a clue.
yeah,
I was like, what, like
you,
my journey would be like now,
yeah.
you know, where you kind of had that bit of experience, and it was like that. Like I'll always kind of appreciate that, like, that you're there to be like, you're like that's what you're doing, Chris. You're there to be reached out to, like, and all these people are reaching out to you. It's
Well,
great.
that's how I feel, man. Like I want you guys to be aware, like, yo, you're gonna get through this. Like I always tell people, I'm like,
Yeah,
when I was in that, you're so confused and scared in the hospital bed, and you're right. Like BJJ is my life. It's your life. You know,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
dude, I just can't imagine that being taken away. So you start questioning what your life is gonna be like, and it's just horrible. So for somebody to be able to reach out to somebody like me, if it happens to them, and I can say, dude, just think positive, like just stay
Yeah,
positive, focus on positive
you're
things.
gonna get there.
You're gonna get there, yeah. And you're telling me that helped you tremendously, which tells me that I need to keep doing what
Big
I'm
time.
doing. Yeah, so I need to
I've
stay.
competed since,
Yeah,
I've competed. So I've competed in 3 competitions since in the last 6 months. Um, I medaled. I medaled, but even in competition, like it was. So my first competition, I know you haven't competed, so that's kind of why I'm kind of here. Like I know I don't want to like try and get you to compete, but some people might want to compete.
you're right. You're right.
But my first competition, it was like it was ACB rules. There was gi and no gi. And so my first match, I was against a guy with some MMA experience, a lot of jiu-jitsu experience. So this was white belt, um, and my first he shot for a takedown, got the takedown. I got a sweep, ended up in mount. He recovered guard and latched on a triangle. And I knew a triangle escape. So this was September, October. So it wouldn't have really been that far into my recovery. And he hit on it. He hit triangle, and I know triangle escapes, but at that moment I couldn't think of a triangle escape. So I got tapped. I tapped, and when I stepped off the mat, I was kind of like, oh, am I able to do this?
Yeah, right.
So I was like, okay. So sometimes you get the option to have a second match after you lose. So I got straight into my gi to compete in the gi, and I beat the first guy I went against. I beat the second guy I went against. I beat the third guy. I think so. Two triangles in the first 2 matches and an armbar in the third, and then I lost in the final against the same guy that triangled me in the no-gi by triangle again. So I got silver. So that was a big thing for me, in like a little in-house. It wasn't like all competitions kind of in Ireland are kind of in-house competitions, unless they're IBJJF or. But it was a big thing because I was after beating guys, and them guys didn't know what I was after going through. So like, if I could do it, anyone else can kind of do it,
right.
And then I competed again, and a few months later, that was in an EBI rules competition. Both my matches went to overtime, so I lost my first match, but it was a round robin competition. So I got another match, but I lost that again against a guy who was kind of much less experienced, but it went to overtime, and the two guys took the back and choked me. So, and I couldn't escape. I didn't escape quick enough, whatever, but so that was that. So like, but I learned loads from that competition as well. Like I remember like having a dart on a guy, and I couldn't submit him, but now I'm submitting everyone with darts. My darts are solid now.
Nice.
So that was that, and then I did a competition there just in December. I was due an operation on my heart to close the hole in my heart. That was I was due to do that on the 21st, and I did the competition on the 9th of December. That was gi and no gi. So it was gi first. I tapped the first guy by armbar. Then I think I went against another guy. Did I go against another guy? I can't remember. But I got to the final of that one. I got beat in the final. The guy mounted me, and he put on a collar choke, and because of like our condition, I tapped straight away. I didn't even try and escape. You know.
Yeah.
Which is the right thing to do,
I
though.
think so too.
Like, you know, like a medal's a medal. It's just a piece of metal. Like,
100%.
You know, that's the way I'm kind of looking at competitions now. But then I did the Nogi and I beat the first guy, beat the second guy, got to the final. I was against a junior Olympic wrestler, caught him in an inverted triangle, and he kind of powered his way out of it, took me back, and he won on points. And then so double silvered in my third competition after stroke.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then, you know, so you can be done, like, after them sort of accidents. Like.
Yeah, I think it's
not easy. It's not easy.
No.
You know, I'm not saying it's easy.
Is this scary?
Competing, it's scary. It's scarier. It's scarier than competing when you don't have that condition.
Well, no doubt. Man, every time I get on the mats, like even at my gym, like my guys are good at respecting my neck. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, the fact of the matter is, you're still rolling. You know what I mean? And they're still. You know. It's scary. It's like swimming. It's like I say, like it's like going swimming with the sharks. You know, it's like you.
Yeah.
But I always use this because they're like, why do you keep doing this? I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. If you're a surfer and you just love it, it's your life. You love surfing. You get bit by a shark, but you survive. Are you going back in the ocean? And I think 95% of those surfers are probably going to go back in the ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
definitely, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah,
I think
that's the best way, kind of. I think of looking at it, like.
Yeah, I think your I think your story is. You're right. Like it's what I needed, what I need people to understand. Like number one, this is gonna happen. So bring awareness to it. You know, in your communities. But then number two, if you are somebody that this happened to and you're watching this right now, sitting in a hospital bed. My perspective is, it's just like I told you initially, just stay positive, stay focused, don't get too down and you're a great example.
Ease your way back into it as well, you know, if you are going to go back and train.
Yeah.
Which I would recommend if you're able. Ease your way back into it. Like it's a journey anyway.
It is.
So, why not like keep it a journey?
Yeah, dude. That's how. It's funny that you say that because that's exactly, dude. I was going like, even with the stroke, without the stroke, whatever. BJJ is like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Add a condition into it with like a stint in your neck, and it brings a whole new level of anxiety. And just the other day I was having just going through those mental issues about it. And I said to myself, I'm like, Chris, though, what are you in such a hurry for? This is a journey, bro. Like, this is not like a 10 years and you're out, or a 5 years and you're out, or you got by the end of the year you got the rest of your life to play around with this. So yeah, man, I'm embracing it, and I'm so happy to hear, that you're back on the mats. You found your groove. And shit, man, you're only 20, early 20s, man.
You're 23, yeah.
Man, sky's the limit for you.
Yeah, but that's it. And then, like, I got my blue belt after my stroke. Like, I only got my blue belt a month ago. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
That was a really big thing.
It is a big thing.
It's a big thing anyway.
Yeah.
It for any white belt, like, but like that was probably that was a big achievement. Like thanks to you as well. I never would have been able to do it without like the little words. When I was on the hospital bed and my coach, like Wayne, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys. And then like some friends, like Carrie Ann, that's a girl. She gives me a lift up the training sometimes. Like she's a big help.
Yeah.
Like she was a massive help. Like like take all the help you can get as well, I'll say, because it's not easy. It's like sometimes you need that help, and sometimes you can be stubborn. You can be too stubborn to take the help.
Yeah, I agree.
I think. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Dude, we'll do another Skype call soon
Definitely.
when it could be more personal with my face.
And I was meant to say, that's what I was going to say to you. I seen you rolling the other day as well. You're a beast, Chris. You're a beast. You're an animal.
Dude,
Honestly,
I'm just a half guard guy, man. I just like to.
You're on top. I've seen you playing on top.
But it must have been a bigger person then, because that means I was protecting my neck.
Yeah. You're an animal.
Thanks, man. We'll roll, because I'm gonna be coming out there to Ireland. And don't worry,
definitely
there's gonna be a reason and a purpose, and it'll happen.
There's a room there. There's a room there.
Appreciate it, bro. All right, 100%. Mr. Reilly, it was good speaking with you. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Mr. Martin, for all your help and for helping everyone, a lot of people around the world, on behalf of them and me and my teammates, because they have me, you know. So
absolutely, brother. All right, blessings.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, man.
Blessings.
Yeah, take care. I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.